All right, we will officially get started with our Live Healthy Iowa Lunch Bunch webinar today. I'm Kyle Wagner with Live Healthy Iowa. Joining me, we have Nicole Kennedy. Many of you know Nicole, Director of Live Healthy Iowa. I would like to first introduce Kelly Visser with the Iowa Food and Family Project. She's really helped organize this Lunch Bunch webinar for us today. So with that, I'll let Kelly take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Kyle. We are so happy to be here with you today. My name is Kelly Visser, and I lead the work of the Iowa Food and Family Project. We are so proud to sponsor the 10-week wellness challenge with Live Healthy Iowa and bring you this webinar today. So over the next half hour or so, Cristen Clark, who is a pig farmer, award-winning baker, cook, blogger. She's going to walk you through how to take one cut of protein. I think today we're looking at a pork shoulder, and turn it into 3 healthy recipes that will nourish you, simple meal times, just a really easy way to bring some farm fresh protein into your kitchen. So the recipes will be shared by Cristen on this webinar, but they'll also be housed in the challenge toolkit. So if you want to access them later, they'll be there for you to download. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Cristen Clark.
Hello, everyone. I am Cristen Clark coming to you from my Runnels, Iowa kitchen. I live east of Des Moines, probably 15 to 20 minutes. Today, we are talking about cooking in bulk and making healthy meals a little bit easier. So what I have done is I'm going to burn my butter. So I'll just go ahead and take it off right now because I'm getting ahead of myself. I have actually 2 different proteins today that we're going to celebrate, and a third one that's in my crock pot but was not ready yet today. Okay. I have shredded turkey breast, and all I did was throw this in the crock pot on low for about 8 hours. I had a lot of them. And about 3 pounds, okay, 3 to 4 pounds. And then I just shredded all the meat, put it in this plastic baggie, and threw it in my refrigerator. And now we're just going to show you how to kind of revive it and warm it back up and be ready to serve a delicious meal out of it. And the first meal we're going to make is actually a Gyro style preparation. Okay, forgive me. I have to challenge myself using different technology. This is an induction cooktop, which is awesome. So we go camping a lot in the summertime, and I don't like to make my camper warm. So I like to take this out of the camper and kind of cook away, but it's coming really helpful for stuff like this too. So we are just going to take a couple of cups. I'm not going to make as much as the regular recipes because I'm not feeding my whole family right now. My kids are at school. Thank the Lord. I love my children, but not when I'm doing recipe videos because they're always interjecting at the wrong time. Okay, so I've got 2 tablespoons of butter down in the skillet. And what we want to do is kind of infuse those Mediterranean flavors. And an easy way to do that, I could make a marinade from scratch, no problem, but that takes time of which I don't have, especially in the summer. So I'm going to sprinkle Cavender's Greek seasoning. And I will tell you the best thing for pork chops, burgers, turkey, anything in the summer, take this in Lowry seasoned salt. Use that as your grilling kind of rub. Super, super good. All right, let's keep stirring that around a little bit. So just the Greek seasoning is on the turkey right now. And this is the part that's going to make your taste buds sing, okay? But it could also make you feel like you want to pass out if you stand above the heating element with all the vinegar that's in this Greek vinaigrette. So I don't measure a lot. This is supposed to be a third of a cup. We'll do a little bit less since I'm not making as much. We're just going to throw it in there, okay? Like I said, don't stand above this. It's like reducing balsamic vinegar. You would almost pass out if you stood over it. I'm not joking here. Okay, so, it smells so good though. If you wanted to go above and beyond, you could squeeze a little lemon zest on here. You could add some dried oregano flakes just to really amp up the flavor. Oh my gosh, it just did it to me. I just did it to myself. I need a fan blowing the aroma, even though it's super yummy. Whew. I'm telling you, vinegar, hot vinegar, that's a sensory delight. Let's say that. Okay, so here we go. We've got our yummy Euro style shredded turkey. Now, pitas, let's discuss. All right, different options you can use. I myself have not been eating a ton of carbs in the last year just because it's helped me lose a little weight, which is wonderful. And we can eat carbs. This is a pita flatbread, not like a pita pocket. It's called Papa Pita. You can buy them at Fairway or Hy-Vee, any of those grocery stores. Soften them up. You could also smear a little olive oil and throw it on a dry skillet to warm it up and kind of crisp it up. All right. So we'll go ahead and stuff this, but another way you can enjoy this gyro is in a good lettuce cup or iceberg lettuce cup. And I love to make a bowl actually with, these little baby cute little zucchini and some shredded like sliced onion, and just kind of saute those around and then build your gyro bowl out of that. Little healthy option. Cauliflower rice. I mean, this can go on top of anything. I think our turkey is ready to go in to our pita, and that vinegar is reduced so I can safely stand over the serving or stand over the skillet. And I mean, come on, we have to be generous here, do we not? All right, so here we have this. Now, second of all, what's going to go on there? Tzatziki sauce. All right, just a Greek cucumber dill sauce that is so good. I actually made this in advance. It's got shredded cucumber. I like to use sour cream. You can also use Greek yogurt. I love the tang from sour cream. Sour cream is great. Greek yogurt is great. For some reason, I love AE sour cream, the full fat stuff, just because it makes the texture so amazing of this. And there's also minced garlic in here as well. And I've got a quick tip for you. If you are making a dip or something like this, that you don't want to have like chunks of raw garlic in, right? Because we're not cooking the garlic before it goes in here. Go ahead and take your chef's knife and you're going to mince that garlic up. And then you're going to add a little bit of salt and rub with the back of your knife to get that garlic to kind of break down a little bit. It's going to make your sauces or condiments that you're making using raw garlic a lot more palatable and really meld that flavor in instead of just being there in bursts that you're going to chew and get stuck in your tooth. And then 2 hours later, it's going to just be like a garlic bomb went off in your mouth again. And we don't want that, do we? No. Okay. So we'll take this sauce. This sauce, my husband can just eat, I mean, like gallons of it. He's not here, so I can talk about him, but he's notorious for walking through the door when he's unwelcome, so that might happen. Just be prepared. His name is Mike. All right. Tomatoes. You can use sliced tomato. I feel like the grape tomatoes looked really good. Let's shut this off right now. The grape tomatoes looked amazing, so I just have them, no problem. Now, let's talk about cucumber. The way that I like to cut cucumber for a pita gyro presentation is to have it, all right, just like that. And then with that half, you're going to cut on the bias. So you're going to cut, so you get these long, beautiful fan-like, oh, I'm like one of the makeup bloggers. Do you see that? See? Okay. So we're going to drop the cucumber in there as well. It just lays really nicely in the pita. Oh, this looks so good. I'm starving, but I'm not going to eat in front of you because I don't want to embarrass myself. All right. And I cut my onions earlier, so I didn't have to put my onion goggles on, which are actually sunglasses. All right. So we have a little red onion, and that is what your gyro is going to look like. That is recipe number 1 of 3 that we're going to make today. You can absolutely throw all that minus the pita part on top of a green salad. You could throw it in the lettuce cups, don't forget. Or you could throw it on top of just a little sauteed little Greek seasoning, sliced cucumbers and onion. Saute it with a little butter or olive oil. Delicious. All right, so, ooh, yes. Here's the rest. We'll save this for later. Have a little costume change here. And I am going to start next our sesame soy bowls, okay? And that's actually going to be using ground pork. So we'll let the turkey head over here. I will have to wash this at some point later. I'll be right back. I'll go ahead and just give this a rinse. Do we have any questions, Kelly, Nicole, or Kyle? Are there any questions so far that I can answer for you? You know, I've worked with Iowa Food and Family Project for a long time, and we have a really great way for farmers like me to communicate with people that have questions about how food is grown and raised in Iowa. I'm not an expert. I know a lot about pigs. I grew up on a cattle farm. I bake the proteins a lot, but if there's anything I can help you with or answer, connect you with a farmer that might be able to answer your questions, I am here. And with that message, I would like to communicate, please cook your whole muscle pork to 145 in the center by means of a digital instant read thermometer. It will make your pork chop eating experience delightful. That was my little PSA. Now, anyone that knows anyone at Iowa Pork, you can tell them that, so they know I'm spreading the good word of delicious pork. All right, shall we do the sesame soy bowls? I'm ready. I've never been more ready. Shall we leave this up here? Nicole or Kelly, shall we just leave that?
Kristen, would you mind saying what brand of the Greek seasoning?
Oh, the Greek seasoning, this is Cavender's. I don't even know, you probably can't even see it. It's called Cavender's All-Purpose Greek Seasoning. And I know you can get it at Fairway, Hy-Vee, Target, and Walmart. But yes, if you use this, sprinkle Lowry's seasoned salt, sprinkle on top of your burgers, flip it over. Don't you dare try to only season one side of your meat. Both sides, flip it over, little sprinkle, little sprinkle. It doesn't take a lot, but you will have to die for burgers, chops, steaks, you name it. All right, we'll move these out of the way. And then this was Ken's Simply Vinaigrette Greek. All right, any Greek vinaigrette will work just fine. Or you can make your own, but who has time for that? Canceling, making our own vinaigrette. Okay, so next, this recipe is one of my favorites, and it is so delicious. We are going to go ahead and melt. Let's get this thing fired up again. Putting it through its paces. 2 tablespoons of butter. I just like to rehydrate the meat a little bit, and I love butter. You know, my family, 5 generations ago, they decided that Prairie City, Iowa was a place to like drop their roots. And, you know, my great whatever grandmothers were women of the frontier, and they baked their own breads, and they didn't work out. They literally needed bread. And they were like these big sturdy women. I mean, kind of like me, let's be honest. But you know what they did do? They were dairymen and dairy women. So every time I set a little bit of butter in a pan, it's just like an homage to my roots. Or cream cheese when I'm using that. I don't know, just one of those things. But I do like to rehydrate the meat with a little bit of fat, and that would come from the butter. It's also going to add flavor when it browns, because the dairy solids in the butter are going to hit that heat and brown up and be that nutty golden color. Okay. Oh, here's my meat. Here we go. All right, let's put, now this is just pork shoulder. So you can make a huge pork butt. I made a huge pork butt yesterday, and it took 10 hours to get the thing done. I was wondering if it was still frozen in the center. However, if you have the big 7-8 pound roast, it's going to take all day. So plan in advance. All right. Let's get some of this in here, and then I'll keep talking. All right. I love using pork with kind of those Asian inspired flavors. There tends to be acidity that can kind of cut through the richness of the pork and really complement it. So I have right here the, oh, I got to put the garlic in too. And we're going to do this all at the same time, okay? So this would be the soy sauce, honey, brown sugar, white wine, or rice wine vinegar, or rice wine. Either one works. And we're going to stir that up. We'll throw our garlic in, let it cook along with. and just let it really permeate the pork. Whew. Another vinegar that is up in my face. Like next time I do this, remind me, I'm gonna put a fan back here and it's just gonna blow it into the computer. Then maybe you'll smell it on your end. All right, perfect. I love these flavors. You can smell that soy sauce. That garlic it's coming around. And we'll just let that cook for a little bit. So how we're gonna prepare this, all right? Again, we can use the lettuce cups. You can throw it on top of the green salad, no worries. But what I've done is actually a little bit more fun. My kids love bowls. They love protein bowls, like yogurt bowls, smoothie bowls, anything that comes in a bowl. Like, I don't know if they just love like cereal and brain or whatever, but if it comes in a bowl, it's just that much more exciting. So in this bowl, I have a base of jasmine rice. You could use quinoa, farro, anything like that. You could also use a grain bowl with your gyros as well. Let's stir this. Let's not burn it. Let's not burn the food. The garlic is still cooking, so I don't want to pull it off yet. When you put the marinades and stuff down, we're just letting the meat absorb the moisture, okay? So back to the bowl. I've got jasmine rice as a base. I've got a little bit of pineapple, some chopped carrot. I've got our beautifully sliced cucumber. I've got a little radish and some green onion, okay? Now we're gonna put a huge heap of meat. I didn't really leave enough room, so we'll kind of move the pineapple over. A huge heap of meat right there. If you want, soy sauce is a great drizzle. This kind of speaks for itself. You get the meat, you get a little bit of the veggies in every bite. It's very tasty. I don't really put tomatoes on there just because it doesn't fit, in my opinion. Okay, the garlic is ready. These are just super quick. Oh, it's over here. These are just super quick ways to rehydrate, revamp, revive one protein that you can make on a Monday and literally eat all week if you wanted to. I mean, let's be done eating it by Thursday or Wednesday just for food safety reasons. However, if you wanted to freeze it in little batches, throw it in with a little bit extra butter, like 50% more, so 3 tablespoons, because you're going to need that just to, as it melts, it's going to have to cook a little bit longer, so it's going to need the more butter. Let's go ahead and dress our bowl here. Now, I left my meat in really long shards because that's what my family prefers. If you want to do something a little bit different, you could chop it up. No problem. All right. Let's get a nice hearty layer of pork in there. Oh, this is going to be a hard one not to eat right now. Goodness. Oh, and I'm dripping. That's just pretty much standard in here making a mess. All right, so there you go. There is your Asian-inspired soy sesame. Oh my gosh, speaking of sesame soy, what is the one thing that I told myself not to lose? Oh, I bet it's that one. We'll garnish with a little green onion, okay, for fun, and then with a few sesame seeds. Just like that. Good to go. Is this like salt where you're supposed to throw it over your right shoulder? Hopefully my Roomba will pick that up later. All right, so there is recipe number 2. Super tasty, you guys. This is the biggest challenge maybe in my working career so far, not to eat the food while it's hot and in front of me. Kelly, Nicole, Kyle, does anyone have any questions? Do we have anything cooking related? Type of knives? What? Oh, there's one thing I want to show you.
Kristen, while you're grabbing that, we were kind of, Kelly had posted it in the chat, but I know I was kind of thinking it too. Can you give us some tips on how you prepared the pork as you were cooking it? Did you use a crock pot?
Yes.
Or, you know, do you have a special thing? And do you put any seasoning on it when you cook it, like as a whole?
Yes. So you've kind of seen my basic go-tos are the Greek seasoning, the Lowry's. You can even season with salt and pepper. Keep it basic. Don't overdo it. I think I had, even with my pork, I was cleaning out my refrigerator and I had about this much of some garlic herb butter marinade that was in my refrigerator. I threw that on there too. Don't complicate things, I would say. If you're doing this preparation where we're going to add a lot of flavor in later, just let the meat kind of do its own little thing. You know, we could also do barbecue sandwiches with this meat. There's so many options that you could use, but definitely throw that stuff in the slow cooker, head off to work, do your thing. I like to add a little bit of, you know, cooking stock or even water if you have to, no problem. Just to give a little moist cooking environment. It helps speed the process along and usually delivers a better result. So yes, little liquid, seasonings, it could be salt and pepper, could be seasoned salt. If you know that whole batch of meat is going to be an Italian style preparation, throw all the Italian seasonings on it that you want, a packet of Italian dry salad dressing mix or ranch salad dressing mix, anything like that. But you can just keep it basic when you're carrying over and doing kind of step 2 and making a bunch of different offerings. So you can just keep it plain. And if you're fancy with an Instant Pot, but I don't know how to do it. I mean, I do, but same thing goes, exact same thing. You're just gonna have obviously much less cooking time, and then let it cool down, shred it up, bag it, freeze what you don't need for now. Super easy to rehydrate later, and you're eating on the same big roast. We can use pork loin, beef arm roast, beef chuck roast, turkey tenderloin or turkey breast. You can use chicken breast if you wanted to. All right, any of that meat's going to shred. So pork loin, pork shoulder as well. Obviously, that's what I've used today. But there's so many options, and just to make your life a little bit easier, because these preparations can be done in a flash, and you've got a great meal. And a lot of this stuff the kids can help slice, chop, assemble, and they really enjoy it. All right. So last recipe. How are we doing for time? This one might take a little bit longer. We've got a little work to do.
We're good.
Let me clear off the spot. Oh, I have a question for everyone. This is okay, here, I forgot. Have some cilantro on, I put it on there loosely so I can pull it off later. Does cilantro, this is for the group, do you think cilantro tastes like the most delicious, amazing herb you've ever tasted, or does it taste like dish soap? Please drop it in the chat. I want to know. Kelly, you have to tabulate it. I need to know. Dish soap. Oh, Corey says dish soap. Nicole, you love it? Oh my gosh. I can see. Cilantro is the worst. Ah! Oh, amazing. Oh my gosh. Are we 50-50? Okay, tabulate this, Kelly, and you can drop in at any time and tell me what's happening. I feel like it tastes like dish soap. So does my dad, but my mother literally will make an entire salad. Like, this is what she would have this whole thing brimming with cilantro and drop like a tablespoon of meat on it and call it a salad. No, nope, we might as well just do it. This is what we're doing. This is what it would taste like. I'm not gonna waste it, but this is what cilantro tastes like to me. But I'm using it anyway because I think it does add to the dishes. I just can't eat a mouthful of it without tasting like I'm drinking palm olive. Okay, is this warm? Good. Again, here we go. What do you think's going in there first? Butter, duh. The best. Oh, the sizzle just makes my dreams come true. And my little butter pig gets to make a cameo today, which is even more fun. All right, so I'm using a different pan here, so I don't have to go wash the other one again. We're going to do a pork carnitas style preparation here. Okay, so I've got a few things to bring over. We've got some tortillas that we're going to use. We've got guacamole. And some other things. Now, sour cream. I know taco night, usually everyone's like, oh, sour cream, plain sour cream. No. AE's got all these flavored sour creams. Use these when you're having taco night, carnitas night, whatever you're doing. Okay. I've got, what's this, garlic, the garlic version, so good. Okay. I'm going to take this, actually gotta cut it like this. So carnitas have a fair amount of, let's go ahead and zest this too. Oh, I did my lime juice earlier. We'll go ahead and put that lime juice in there. Pull this off the heat for a second. Woo! And we're gonna zest this orange a little bit. Okay. I should have cut it before I'm zesting it, and I'm not even using the correct zester. Someone has stolen my zester, either that or it's in the dishwasher. I'm just thinking right now, I think I actually put it in there yesterday. So that's my fault. All right, and then we're gonna squeeze the orange juice down into our butter. Okay, perfect. I normally zest more of that, but that zester is not good. And you don't want to zest down the white parts of that orange because that's what makes your marinades bitter and grody. Ew. Okay, so now we have to add our spices. We got cumin, okay? Got a teaspoon of that, I think. I usually eyeball everything. I did measure everything out when I tested for you guys. There's a teaspoon and a half of chili powder, okay? Now, when I usually make carnitas, I like to make this marinade per se. It goes in the slow cooker all together. Then it goes in the oven and you can kind of caramelize the bits. Seriously, why are you turning off? No, no. All right. And that tends to work out well. Oh, we don't need that. The other thing you can do to make a little shortcut is just throw about, let's say a tablespoon of taco seasoning in there. You got all the same flavors, but the addition of the citrus is going to make the end result a lot different. And the natural sugars in there is going to be a bonus. All right. Okay, so we've got a nice mixture. Oh, it's so pretty. I just like to kind of toast those spices around, get them really married up with the butter and the citrus juices. Okay, it's nice and thick. Let's go ahead and grab our meat. We'll throw it in. Again, I'm using about half of what you will use, okay? Just so I don't have a zillion food options hanging around for my family tonight. They're going to be very excited though, that's for sure. Okay, so we're going to toss that around and you can kind of see how dark that meat is getting. Okay. This little induction cooktop gets really mad when I take the bowl off the heat. Very upset. All right, now this meat does not have a lot of salt on it. If you like to have a nice salty flavor, this is where you can throw in some garlic salt or regular salt. I just don't think it really needs it. All right. So we're gonna let that cook a little bit because kind of that signature carnita almost has that crunchy caramely flavor to it. And you just have to get that by letting it cook a little bit longer and browning those edges. All right. So we can prepare our, let's see. We'll prepare a little taco shell here. And oh, let's make the pico. Let's do that. Okay, pico de gallo, right? You can use white onion, you can use purple onion, but I like to take these chunky halved grape tomatoes, all right? So you've got those. And then I'll take this sliced garlic and actually chop some up a little bit more finely. And you can buy this at the grocery store, super easy. Pico, no problem, it's fresh. It's in the refrigerated section most places. All right, we'll throw a little bit of that in there. And then you cilantro lovers. We'll kind of roll up our, ooh, we gotta stir this a little bit. Oh,
Kristen, the cilantro lovers are beating out the dish soap.
No, oh my gosh. How much?
Oh, now Corey is really reinforcing that he thinks it's garbage.
Oh, we've got cilantro trash talk happening over the lunch hour on Thursdays. This is my dream. Yeah, you'll take some of the rest of that cilantro and just throw it over the shoulder like the salt. Okay, and then what I like to do, kind of give that a stir. And if you do this in advance, also it's going to take some salt and pepper. I know I have some garlic salt over here, so I don't have to leave the frame. That salt, if you throw some salt on it, it's going to draw out the natural liquid of the tomato and the garlic, so you're not going to have to worry about adding any liquid to it. All right. Okay, now you can smell it. It's got caramely bits. Oh yeah, you can kind of see I don't even know if you can see it, but definitely caramely bits. That's what we want. That's what's that signature carnitas flavor. Okay, so we've got our pico. Where's hello, there we go. All right, right here, right now. We're gonna throw some yummy pork carnitas on there. And there are many different ways to make carnitas. This is just an easy way that you can come home, throw this together, feed your family, healthy meal. All right, let's take our pico. Now, you could just serve it up like this. I'm telling you, it does not need anything else. If you like to throw sour cream on, if you like to do all that stuff, queso asadero or cotija cheese, you can throw on there, but I'm telling you, it really doesn't need much more than this. That is what it looks like. It's flavorful, it's tasty. We'll leave the cilantro over here. If you wanted to do like street taco, you could throw radishes on there. That's like really in. But again, that can go on anything. That can go on a salad. It can go on your zucchini. It can go in lettuce cups. Super tasty. But yeah, so that's 3 great recipes that you can use and make with leftover shredded pork, beef, turkey, chicken, anything like that. Just take those Iowa proteins and turn them into something completely different every time you use them. And you can do with a big roast or a large amount of turkey or beef or pork. You can make 3 different recipes or more with 1 roast. And that's where I think we can, kind of stretch the budget, make things work. And honestly, budget's one thing, but time is another. And time is something that we can't get back. So when you can prepare things pretty easily and your family eats them, slam dunk. So do we have any more questions before I got to share one more thing? Any questions?
I just typed in the chat box give people a couple minutes here to ask questions. I do have another question really quick myself, but I think sometimes I struggle on the amount of meat that I need. So I know you mentioned 3 pounds of turkey, I think. Yeah. But I kind of struggle with that. I'm like, oh, I have a recipe to make and I'm going to, do this and I want to have leftovers. And I'm like, I don't know how many chicken breasts is that to equal whatever. So any guidance on the amount of meat you need to cook to do some of these things?
So I like to do the hand method. So I wish some of this were, oh, you know what? No, it's not. I like to think of my kids' hands. Okay. What amount of meat would fit in their hand if they went like this, right? So I think we think in pounds so much, and then pounds by the time you get in the crock pot totally changes. I like to think in cups, because then you take this bag and you can kind of eyeball how many cups. There's probably 4 cups left in here. And when I'm talking about a cup, it's just a cup, not smashed like down like brown sugar. But people eat a big person will eat 1/3 of a pound of meat at a meal. It just depends on what's going with it, Nicole. I think that ends up being the hardest thing. But the best part about this type of preparation is if you over prepare. If you have a huge roast and you want to make it, go ahead, put it in this bag, and then portion it out, because maybe you and your husband are only eating one night, and then maybe you have guests another night, or the kids are coming home, or whatever, right? So that's the flexibility that something like this can offer. And following the recipes is difficult, but I think eyeballing it, putting how much vinaigrette we need or seasoning we need, is something that you can do too. And I think these recipes are really flexible towards that as well.
Yes, thank you so much. I do think that it's a really great, I'm looking at this myself as, holy cow, we're getting into summer. We're starting to get a little bit busier and, we've been used to not being so busy. So as we gear up for that, this relieves a little stress thinking ahead of how I'm going to feed everybody as we're coming and going.
Oh yeah. And you know what? With these leftovers, I would take them and put them in a bag, right? I would do a freezer bag and make sure all the air is out of it. Air is the enemy of freezing things. I mean, if you had one of those like air suction vacuumy things, you could use that, but get all the air out, fold it over, zip it in the freezer bag and throw this in the freezer and then just rehydrate it with the butter and maybe a little chicken stock. You have your meal again. So even if you make way too much, you could totally freeze it and use it next. But the best part is you can use your slow cooker all summer and still make fresh, appealing meals for the hotter months. You know, I feel like, oh, I'm so strapped to the grill all summer. I'm so sick of it. I mean, I'm sad right now because I can't make soup every other night. What are we gonna do? So yeah, this is good for that.
We did have a question from Rebecca. You kind of just talked about it, but she said, if you make extra, do you freeze it? Which you kind of said, yes, that's a great way to do it. But also wondering how to prevent freezer burn. So do you feel like just eliminating the air from the bag is the biggest key to that?
Yes, definitely eliminate the air from the bag. And if you want to add the chicken stock with the meat, so with not that meat, this meat that's prepared, add the chicken stock with it and then freeze it in that freezer bag. It's going to coat the strands of the meat to prevent more freezer burn. Okay. And then when you freeze it flat so you can just kind of break it up and then throw it in your pan. And as it reheats, it will rehydrate with that chicken stock. And if you don't get around to that, you can always throw the chicken stock in later, but you have to remove the air. When the air hits the surface of whatever food you're freezing, that's when we get freezer burn, and it never ends up well. So, and then eating food, in a timely fashion. So we're not waiting several months. I mean, I wait a few weeks and pop it back out and use it up so it doesn't end up in, I call my freezer a dungeon, because literally there's things on the bottom that probably haven't been seen for a year. So don't be like me. Oh, can I do one more thing?
Absolutely.
If you don't have, this is like my PSA, right? This is called a ThermaPen. There's also a product called a ThermoPop. It's made by ThermoWorks, a company, and it's a digital instant read thermometer. So when you are cooking your pork and you're cooking it like a whole muscle cut, like a pork chop, to 145 in the center, you can test it with this amazing product. And also, if you're making banana bread and you're like a serial underbaker of your banana bread, you can check the temperature of your banana bread and make sure it's 190 to 200. You'll never underbake it and have that like weird gooey tunnel again, unless you like that, because it is appealing. Or if you're an overbaker, you don't have to overbake anymore. So cakes, anything like that, this is an invaluable tool.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen. I'm not seeing any other questions. So with that, we will wrap it up. If you do have questions, just email me, info@livehealthyiowa.org. Happy to get you in touch with Kristen. I'm sure you're all hungry like the rest of us. So thank you all for attending. We will post this recording along with the recipes in the dashboard on the Live Healthy Iowa website. So thank you again for attending. Have a great rest of your Thursday and a great rest of your week. And we'll see you all soon.